Failure. I felt that I've had a lot of failure in life, and I was like, oh, just keep moving on. I've never really wanted to face a challenge. I just live life and go to work, come home, do this, eat my ice cream, and carry on with life as is. Biggest reason I want to do is because of my kid. I don't want him to be like, well, Dad's fat. I can be fat. Dad eats like crap. I can eat like crap. Eat like crud, feel like crud. I've never known any different. I've always just felt like, ugh. Had
Mhm,
constant diarrhea, and just
mhm.
now I'm like, I'm a regular guy.
Yeah,
I know as a fact, my child is overweight, and if that's all he sees around him, like, he's comfortable with it. And so I wanted to be that spark that says, hey, if Dad can do it, I can do it. I'm losing weight, I'm looking better. So the people around me, I think I see them just where I was, just living life, man, just going to work, coming home, eating whatever,
yeah,
feeling like crap and getting accustomed to it and being okay with it, finding that little bit of happiness. I don't feel like I'm depressed anymore. I'm happy. I love spreading the news to other people. I was at 189. I'm at 162 today. So what is that? 20, 30. I got accustomed to the gut inflammation, 5 trips to the bathroom a day. Just thought, oh, that's just normal, but it's not normal. It's not normal to feel like shit. Just because we're getting older doesn't mean we have to live that way. Like, we can still feel young. I feel like I'm 20 years old again. Ask my girlfriend. It's not normal to be depressed, and it's not normal to be unmotivated. It's not normal to not have energy. It's not normal to be on a CPAP. It's not normal to be on medications for depression. I don't need big pharma to solve my problems. I can solve my problems, and anybody can. It just takes a little bit of work, man. It takes finding your happiness. Eat healthy, be healthy. And if you don't feel
yeah,
like you're worth it, find something that makes you feel like you're worth it.
yeah.
But no one can rely, only you can provide your own happiness, no one else.
Welcome to the Sovereign Mind, Body, and Soul podcast with Coach Jerry. I'm your host, Coach Jerry. This is where I deliver to you the truth about pain-free health and joy as I know it from my heart and soul. I left my corporate 7-to-7 job to pursue holistic health and rehabilitation, a passion that stemmed from my personal struggles with obesity, misery, and disease. It was only after I surrendered my attachment to the medical system that I began to truly heal at the root. From arthritis and depression to autoimmunity, it all vanished when I put the doctors and pharmacists on the do not call list. The passion to share the truth as I know it about health was so strong that I left my 6-figure corporate management job, and here I am with you today. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for tuning in. For those of you watching, this is Jerry Kuykendall, also known as Coach Jerry, and I'm here with a good friend of mine who's had a really amazing 3 or 4 months. Basically, all 2024 has been a different world for Marc. And Marc Boswell is a friend of mine, has been for a while. And today he's going to share his story. It's a pretty remarkable story. I think it should inspire you and maybe even motivate you to take some action on something that you hadn't taken action on or you've been thinking about contemplating. Now, just a little background, Marc almost didn't join our dad's group program, our Fit Dads program. He'd committed, and then he got a little nervous and tried to back out, but we had a conversation and he changed his mind. So Marc, what were your concerns, man, when first of all, what was it you were wanting to accomplish when you joined our Fit Dad Challenge? And what were the things that were making you a little nervous about attempting something like this?
Failure. I felt that I've had a lot of failure in life, and I was like, oh, just keep moving on. So I did have that. I've never really wanted to face a challenge. I just live life and go to work, come home, do this, eat my ice cream, and carry on with life as is. But having someone behind me motivating, and then the idea of another, in our case, a group of guys that are like motivating, and you hear their success, and it pushes me more and wants me to be like, oh, I want to be the guy that next week I'm going to have an awesome check-in because I put in the work to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
So what
like, as a guy, it's a competition, not necessarily a competition, but it feels good to give, hey man, I did this week. I am down this much weight, or man, I didn't have a cheeseburger this week, or I didn't have ice cream this week.
yeah.
It's having that support group was phenomenal. And I guess my motivation to not join before is I'd never had a support group.
Mm,
I've always just been like a lone wolf,
yeah. Yeah.
and having the pack I guess let's go with that analogy. The pack pride, the pack surrounding me, supporting me was made this adventure just awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah,
Now
man.
I'm not
And
alone. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and you had a weight loss goal, right?
I did. I did have I was like 189 pounds on a 5 foot. I'm gonna go 5'6" on my license. I probably 5'5", but either way, I definitely my stature was not built to be 189 pounds ever,
Hmm.
and I got comfortable with it. And then we started talking about why do you want to do this? And the biggest reason I want to do is because of my kid. I want to be look at. I don't want him to be like, well, dad's fat. I can be fat. Dad eats like crap. I can eat like crap.
Yeah.
I've had these conversations with him now. I'm like, look, man, I feel so good just eating healthy food, meat, veggies, not Captain Crunch and ice cream and corn dogs, because all that has affected my mood tremendously.
Yeah.
Eat like shit, feel like, oh, yeah,
You're fine. You're fine.
eat like crud, feel like crud.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And I've never, like we talked earlier, I've never known any different. I've always just felt like, ugh, had
Hmm.
constant diarrhea, and just
Hmm.
now I'm like, I'm a regular guy.
Yeah.
And that all goes to my diet, 100%.
Hell yeah, man. And
What
we've had a lot of talks. We had talked about, like you said, as a father, setting the example. And so why is it important for you as a father to set an example?
I know as a my child is overweight, and if that's all he sees around him, like he's comfortable with it. And so I wanted to be that spark that says, hey, if dad can do it, I can do it. And he's a lot younger, so some of these things might carry on with him for the rest of his life if he gets after it. I mean, it's been a slow, almost non-existent process with him, but that doesn't stop my motivation, because in the end he's going to see it. And I think he'll jump on board. I have faith. I still think he'll come around and be like, wow, yeah. Recently he's had an injury where he can't just walk to the fridge. He can't do this. And so we're trying to get him to just get on this great eating plan. And then I think he'll notice that, hey man, I feel better. I'm losing weight. I'm looking better. My recovery's gonna go better.
Yeah.
It's my motivation has always been for both. It's been for myself and for my children,
Yeah.
because having a strong leader in your family is important, and
Mhm.
being able to be that person just in not all aspects, but just my diet, my habits.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's one thing I really notice in what I do, Mark, is not that people are bad. It's just, but this is one area of responsibility as parents that we don't take seriously. And that's how we're living our life as an example for our children. And for that matter, for our other family members and friends, people we love. It's not like we're here to change anybody, but we can be an example because we don't know how many people are going through the same pain that we're going through and wanting the same transformations that we're desiring as well. Is there have you noticed a common theme in the people you know that are our age? We're 45, that are our age that have kids that are aligned to that aspect of their responsibility as a parent.
I think that most of the majority of the people I see are comfortable with where they're at. The food industry has made it so easy just to whoop, throw it in the microwave and here you go. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They're Grubhub. Society's becoming so lazy. They're
Yeah.
not willing to put in any sort of work.
Right.
And your body, the work that you put in first should be for yourself. So the people around me, I think I see them just where I was, just living life, man, just going to work, coming home, eating, whatever,
Yeah.
feeling like crap and getting accustomed to it and being okay with it, because that's all they know.
Yeah. Did you think that the way you were feeling just was because the
I just
age,
thought it
or
was
did you know?
normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, my whole life I've been depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly, it boils back to in like sixth grade when they told me I couldn't run, couldn't play sports, couldn't do anything. Working with you, I found a different happiness, a different outlet. Like, swimming is my jam, man, because it's low
Mhm.
impact. It's
Mhm.
something that I can still do and get physically active. And it's by doing so and finding that little bit of happiness, I don't feel like I'm depressed anymore. I'm happy. I love spreading the news to other people. My coworkers, I was just telling them yesterday, man, you guys got to don't eat that. You know what I mean? Don't eat
Yeah.
that bread. You know what? Like we could go down a whole rabbit hole, but I find myself just happy and willing to spread the news about, look, man, you can do it too. It's not hard. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of effort.
Yeah. And how
And
much weight have you lost, Mark?
I was at 189. I'm at 162 today. So what is that? 20, 30, over 30
27,
pounds. Yeah,
27
27.
pounds. Yeah. It's almost 30 pounds. So in 4 months, right? Almost
Yeah.
shit.
And
Um,
we've talked about it. I have fell off the wagon about being able to go swim because I've moved and I've got my kid got hurt and I've been some instances as at work and I'm not making excuses. I haven't lost focus of it, but just going through this program, I've discovered it and I can't let that ever go again. It'll take another couple weeks before I can get back into swimming, but I haven't given up on my diet because I know that's important on the way I feel and what I put into or what I intake is what I get back out of it.
yeah. Yeah.
Eat healthy, feel healthy.
Yep. Yep. And you're still managed in this. Mark just bought a house, so he's been moving. He moved away from his old gym that had a swimming pool, which is his favorite modality of exercise. Mark, you got a hip condition, right? That
I do.
makes running and a lot of like lower
Impact
weight tough.
impact exercises do not work.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's been away from his gym and his favorite activity, swimming, maybe second or third favorite activity,
Yeah,
swimming. But he still managed to lose a couple pounds since you.
4 or 5 pounds just with
Mhm.
diet.
Yeah. And you did mention how much more you've been moving at work.
Yeah,
Um,
I try to just find different avenues
mhm.
like work. Okay, I could go this way and it would be shorter, but why not go this way and make it a little bit longer of a walk or instead of yeah, I mean, yeah, I just find different avenues.
Yeah. So in a few months, you went from being, we'll use triggering language. You went from being
Fat and
fat, depressed, and we'll say lazy, right? Fat, depressed, and lazy. 3.5, 4 months ago, you wouldn't have found ways to move extra at work, right? You would have came home and we'd have had some ice cream.
yeah, that's my downfall, bro.
Would have had some ice cream, maybe wallowed in our sadness a little bit. But even being away from the gym, look at the effect that this change has had on you. And if you could tell anybody that's been thinking about it, they're thinking, "Oh, it's too hard," or "I can't do it." What would you tell to anybody that thinks it's too hard or I can't do it?
Honestly, man, that's the same language I've told myself is, just live life. But to tell someone that is thinking about it, just do it. Give it a try
Yeah.
because it might, you might not want to do it in the beginning, but after a couple weeks, and even if you make little goals that you accomplish, like some of the guys that took a couple weeks, 3, 4 weeks for them to start making noticeable changes, but do it for yourself, man. Do it for your longevity. Do it for your children. Do it because obviously, if you're looking, what you've been doing hasn't been working.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And what would you say to people our age that are like over 35
it's
that think
never
that
too late.
that think that the way they feel, because I would love to hear your take on this because it's so new to you. But the people that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they're not really watching what they're putting in their mouth and they're not watching how much they're moving, but they feel like shit and they think it's just aging or they think it's just normal. What do you tell that person, Mark?
It's not. And like I said, I got accustomed to just the gut inflammation, 5 trips to the bathroom a day,
Yeah.
and just thought, it's just normal, but it's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal to feel like shit. And when you get to that point, it's probably time to look at it and make a
Yeah.
difference because just because we're getting older doesn't mean we have to live that way. Like we can still feel young, we can
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
have energy, we can still wake up and everything comes back when you start
I think
feeling
we know what you're
healthier.
talking about.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm 20 years old again. Ask my girlfriend.
I was gonna say Mark's got a new girlfriend and she's loving this. And so this is my next question too, is like, when's the last time you can remember feeling like this?
30 years, man.
Really? Wow. So like middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even before that. Yeah. Like 6th grade, I remember just losing all motivation because they told me I couldn't play sports and run. I got
Wow.
ADD, man. Like I
Yeah.
need to get that energy out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And being cooped up just only made it worse. And
Yeah.
finding an outlet for that energy and been a godsend, man.
And guys,
It's
that's the power of belief and identity right there. Mark was a young child and was told by an adult that he couldn't run. And so right then at that point in his life, he lost motivation. And like in the deeper parts of the work that I do with people, like we'd call that like a soul fracture or a stuck event. And there's a part of Mark that just stayed put in that time frame, right? However old are you, Mark? 12?
yeah.
12. So he was 12 and part of him just stayed put and said, fuck. It's almost like part of him didn't want to keep going, right? It's like, no, I'm devastated.
That's when
But
I just started turning to other things, drinking, drugs,
yeah,
my whole
getting
getting in
attention.
trouble.
Yeah, getting in trouble, getting attention in other ways. And so, guys, this is really important. So Mark had a belief that was given to him. It wasn't his own belief. Someone gave Mark a belief, you're never going to run again. What does that mean? It could mean just the physical act of running, but it could also mean you're not going to be free, Mark. You're not going to be free to do whatever you want in your life. And so Mark formed this identity of someone who was restricted in his ability to fully express and manifest himself. And unknowingly, this led to these behaviors, these traits, these ways of acting and behaving that were in line with someone who was restricted and not free. And Mark has gone back and got that part of himself and reintegrated it with his current self. He's freed himself. He said, okay, I can't run, but I can swim and I can eat good and I can move more at work and I can do what I can do and I can work my ass off doing it. And that's what the 12-year-old Mark really wanted. That's all the 12-year-old Mark really wanted. And as each year that you carried on, Mark, and separated from that event, like as each year went on and you continued to like live out that identity of being not free and being restricted in some way, or there's something wrong with you, that's not who you truly are. And you knew it. And that's where that pain was coming from. There was this gap between who Mark truly was, right up here, and what Mark was living life as, because someone else gave him a belief of you're incomplete, something's missing, you're never going to be whole, you're never going to be free, something like that. So that's the power, guys, of your beliefs and your identities. You got to look at them. I got a book coming out, and in that book, there's a big section about that. You guys are going to want to pick it up. Mark, what else would you like to share with anybody that's listening? Someone that might be getting older, thinking that their ship has sailed. They don't like the way they feel. They don't believe they
They're
can.
accustomed
Basically,
to
someone
being
who's
happy.
exactly in the exact same position you were 4 months ago.
It's not normal to be depressed, and it's not normal to be unmotivated. It's not normal to not have energy. It's not normal to be on a CPAP. It's not normal to be on medications for depression. That's not the way we're invented. Like for me personally, I have the ability to make myself happy. I don't need big pharma to solve my problems. I can solve my problems and anybody can. It just takes a little bit of work, man. It takes finding your happiness. And if that's going in the gym and sort of busting out weight, awesome. Maybe it's just you got some things, and maybe it's just going on a walk that you didn't take. It's swimming. That is the peacefulness with swimming when you're, for me, just your head's in the water and it's just nothing else but you and your thoughts. And it's every stroke. I'm like, I'm doing this for me, man. I'm doing this because it makes me happy. Find that happiness and the rest will come easy. Eat healthy, be healthy. Everybody deserves happiness, but you have to, it just doesn't come to everybody. You have to find your happiness. I had to find something that motivated me and I found it. And it's not, there's more things that'll make me happy. I just don't wake up and go, I just want to swim. That's it. But
Yeah.
if someone that's was in my shoes 4 months ago, just take that first step.
Yeah.
Take that leap
Are
of
you?
faith and have faith in yourself
Yeah.
because you're worth it. I promise you that.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel
Yeah.
like you're worth it, find something that makes you feel like you're worth it.
Yeah.
But no one can only you can provide your own happiness. No one else.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
No one else. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long were you on the CPAP?
I'd only been on it like a year
Oh, okay. Not too
because I
bad.
didn't know I had these sleeping problems. I didn't know that, like, my little bit of juggle back here,
Yeah.
the weight gain You don't gain weight overnight. Like it just creeps up on you and you're like, holy shit, holy heck, I'm 189 pounds.
Yeah.
Which affected my sleep, which affected my mood, which affected everything. And then just finally I started feeling energized and I just stopped using it and I didn't have any changes. I was like, oh, that's weird. But it's not weird. It's getting healthy.
Yeah. It's getting back to normal. Getting back to normal.
The
Uh,
CPAPs aren't normal. You're not
No,
supposed to be on that.
not supposed to be on that. No.
And I even have,
Right on, Marc.
as
I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with everyone, man. I have no doubt that it's going to inspire at least somebody to take some action, and that's all we're
long
hoping
as
to accomplish
if
here.
it inspires one person, it's been worth it.
Agreed. It's all we're here to do.
One
People
person
take
at a
action.
time, it's like wildfire. You get one person, they'll tell another person, and maybe the whole world one day will all just be happy and no big pharma.
Yeah, that's another show.
Yeah, that could be.
All right, dude. Well, appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, brother. I love you,
All
man.
right. Love you too. Take care.
See ya.